two lists into one, and if you can see from the thumbnail, basically this is going to be for my favorite and least favorite Disney movies. I have 5 picks for the bad and 10 picks for the best. And this is my personal opinion, so don't get angry if there is a certain one you see on the best or worst and you think something should be lower or higher. So we're going to start off. Usually I would do my best, but I decided since there are 5 ones I don't like, I'm going to get these out of the way first. Coming to number 5 is Pearl Harbor. This was Michael Bay's attempt of a movie about one of the most saddest events ever. And the execution of this movie is not good. This movie is 3 hours too long. You try to rip off Titanic with a freaking love triangle instead of focusing on the Titanic. This movie should have been a lot shorter. It should have focused 100% on the Titanic. I know a lot of people say Titanic doesn't focus on the actual Titanic, but that movie is a dramatization, not a documentary, and I love Titanic. The Titanic is a better movie than Pearl Harbor. It's long, but it's a better movie than Pearl Harbor. And Michael Bay just completely didn't screw up what could have been a really great film about Pearl Harbor and made it into something that's not even good. The acting is fine from everyone. The music is nice. The action sequences are also pretty cool. But that doesn't make up for the writing of the characters, the lengthy runtime, and the stupid love triangle. This movie could have been so much better if this movie was shorter, if you removed the love story and focus on the attack on Pearl Harbor. And I do hope that we do get a much better Pearl Harbor movie. Number 4 is The Mighty Ducks. I hate all 3 Mighty Ducks movies. Emilio Estevez and the kids are the best thing about these films, but the Mighty Ducks movies suck. All 3 of them. These movies just are horrible, putrid, lame, generic sports film. The hockey scenes are shot well. The acting is fine, but the story is not interesting, and the story in the other 2 is not as interesting either. Thank goodness the kid actors went on to have better careers. Because if this was their only film, I would have completely hated the way their debut is. And I know child actors have to start somewhere, but for God's sake, give them a better movie than this. Oh, we got 2 people watching. Hi. This movie, Mighty Ducks, I never want to think about this movie again. I'm not going to review these. I'm not going to review it. Because I can't. I cannot put myself through chaos like this. Number 3. Alice Through the Freaking Looking Glass. Oh my god. I hate this movie. This was one of my least favorite movies of 2017. And I could not deal with the fact how stupid and lame this was. This is so horrible. The first film wasn't that good, but it was somewhat tolerable. But this is just so ridiculous and just so unneeded. Evan, the cinema guy, says, I only saw the first Alice in Wonderland. Honestly, with all due respect, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, okay? The acting is not the problem. Hey, Ryan. The acting is not the problem. Mia Wasikowska, Johnny Depp, Anne Hathaway. The acting is not the problem. The effects are not the problem. The music is not even the problem. The story is the problem of this movie, and it just does not work. This movie just does not work. I just think Alice Through the Looking Glass should not have been made. If there's anybody who likes this movie, it's fine, but Alice Through the Looking Glass, I would rather watch Alice in Wonderland, Tim Burton's version, over this. And that's saying a lot. And number 2, Maleficent. How dare you disrespect Sleeping Beauty, one of the best villains in Sleeping Beauty, and one of the best Disney movie villains of all time. How dare you disrespect Maleficent like this? Kristen Chenoweth's version of Maleficent in Descendants is much better than Angelina Jolie's Maleficent. The Elle Fanning is beautiful. She's gorgeous in this movie. I think she's great. The other actors are fine, but Angelina Jolie is just overacting. She's insanely over the top. I like Angelina Jolie as an actress. I love her work. Gia. Lara Croft Tomb Raider. Other movies. But Angelina Jolie, for goodness sake. And you want to make a sequel to this? I hope the sequel is somewhat better, but that's not going to say much because of how much I hate this movie, and I have to review it to finish off my little segment of Disney reviews. Maleficent is just not a good movie. Don't waste your time on it. I know there are probably some fans out here who like it. More power to you. But Elle Fanning made this movie watchable. But that doesn't say much, because Elle Fanning should be in a much better movie than this. Thank goodness I saw her in The Neon Demon with her, Keanu Reeves, and Christina Hendricks in it. And Elle Fanning is a good actress, but I love both Dakota and Elle Fanning. But this should have been better. Now, for the number 1 least favorite movie from Disney. Technically, I am a fan of this franchise, and Dead Man Tell No Tales ended up on the best movies of 2017, if you've seen that video. But this right here, this is an example of how to not make a sequel that doesn't even know what it's trying to be. And you may probably know what this is, but I did not include the list this time, even though I should put the list in the description box. But anyways, this movie, I don't know what's going on. I don't know who to blame. And again, technically, I don't hate the film, but this movie, John Avenger 71985 definitely, and Harry Thomas definitely agrees with me that this is a disappointment. And here it is right now, because I have pretty much said what I have to say about this movie. And hold on. Now, here we go. Pirates of the Caribbean 3 at World's End. Look at it. Right here. This is not how you do a third installment correctly.
Hey, Josh.
Hey.
You need to cut your hair.
I gotta watch. You gotta get it cut.
Smell like a bunch of
Boys, and he got all his movies right here.
Smell.
A boardroom. It smell like a boardroom. What you looking at? SpongeBob?
No. This movie is convoluted. It's too many things going on. It's too many characters. Too much stuff happening. Too many things going on. I agree with the general consensus on Rotten Tomatoes. I agree with the general consensus, and I'm going to read off exactly what Rotten Tomatoes said about Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. Because this movie is 11 years old now, but this movie has a crap load of problems. And this is the second most expensive film ever made, with a budget of $300 million. I will say this, the money is on screen. The effects look nice. The movie looks beautifully shot. The acting is fine. But the audience score is 72%, but Rotten Tomatoes, their tomato meter is I'm agreeing with. Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End provides the thrilling action scenes, but mixes in too many characters with too many incomprehensible plot threads. Yeah, it does. It's too convoluted, and it's too long for its own good. I'm sorry to any person who defends Pirates of the Caribbean 3, but the majority is hate. I'm sorry, Sean. It is. It is. It really is. I thought this would have been a great third installment. I thought this would be a good third installment. But because you have so many characters, so many things happening at once, and a movie that is way too long. It just makes me want to hate this movie. But there are things I like. I like the musical score. On Stranger Tides and Dead Man Tell No Tales are better than this. Dead Man's Chest, my favorite Pirates of the Caribbean movie, is so much better than this. Johnny Depp is not the problem. Orlando Bloom, all the acting is great. Keira Knightley is great in here. But there is so many moments in this movie where Keira Knightley annoys the ever-living crap out of me. To the point where I literally just want to throw something at the TV screen. I don't understand what their purpose was. Keira Knightley becomes so annoying in this movie that I just and then you know what? There's a lot of stuff wrong with this movie. Okay? You can say that the movie had lots of stuff to wrap up, but just because it had a lot of stories to wrap up doesn't mean it's good. You gotta be consistent. You gotta be consistent. You gotta have a consistency. You don't need 15 things going on at once. You only need one writer for this movie. One writer. Jesus Christ. There is a lot of things wrong with this movie, okay? I'm being completely serious. And Harry Thomas's review of this movie, which I will link his review, my review, Sean's review, and John Avenger 71985 reviews in the description. Again, the problem with At World's End is that it takes too long for something to happen. While it does have its good elements, the film is just too long. The best part in this movie is the Maelstrom battle at the end. Yeah, it's raining in that fight and you can't see what's going on. And it does have a stupid thing there. But it's just lacking something, as well as the first two. We got one dislike. At World's End has its enjoyable moments, such as the Pearl versus Dutchman fight, a couple of funny moments and stuff, but this is the worst in the franchise. I didn't even see this movie until 2017. Hi, Dove. It's movie reviews. The film is way too long. The plot is way too extremely convoluted. I would be more forgiving of the story, except the fact that this is a Disney movie. And if there is anything a Disney movie should never be, is a hard to follow and boring and complicated. The thing that really makes me mad here is the change of motivation for rescuing Jack from the locker. At the end of the second one, Will Elizabeth Gibbs and the crew volunteer to rescue Jack because he is their captain and friend and they miss him. Their willingness to go out of their way and to save their friend and say "I" together felt genuine and believable. You got a sense that they really care about him and would do anything to get him back. And what happens in this movie? Will says they need to rescue him just because he's one of the 9 pirate lords and because he needs the Pearl to free his father for some reason. As soon as they get Jack out of the locker, they point guns at swords to try and blackmail him. My reaction was like, really? You're going to go that route? It was like the writers was trying to make you to forget why they agreed to rescue Jack in the first place. Just a way as to advance this convoluted plot or whatever. I may be harsh, but... And also, what is the point of showing a dead child getting hanged? Just because Beckett is not a good villain. We don't need to see kids getting hanged in the Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Do you really think kids are going to sit through it? No. Kids are not going to sit through that. At the end of the day, I don't really hate this movie. And yes, I am excited for Maze Runner: The Death Cure. And I will be reviewing the first two before The Death Cure. And yes, this is on my Amazon for Blu-ray because I will be getting this one on Blu-ray. I'm a completist. And when I start something, I gotta finish it. And I don't hate At World's End. It just could have been a little better though. My grade is still a C+. But it is a fun movie. It is a time waster. And it's a good film. Woo! Sorry guys, as I'm chewing my candy bar, my jaw is hurting on both sides, but I'm still gonna eat it. Now those are my least favorite Disney films. Now I get into the top 10 ones I really enjoy. At number 10, Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. Thank God, after Pirates of the Caribbean Air World's End was so convoluted and so long, and that was the main criticism of this movie, they decided to get their crap together and go back to the lightheartedness of the first film. Yes, it doesn't have Will and Elizabeth in it. Yes, to some people, to a lot of people, it doesn't work as a Pirates of the Caribbean movie. To me, it works as a Pirates film and a standalone movie. Johnny Depp is having fun. I like Penelope Cruz in here. I think Penelope Cruz is a gorgeous Spanish actress. I loved Sam Claflin. I love Astrid Frisbee. I think they were great replacements for Will and Elizabeth. And Serena doesn't talk a whole lot, but her facial reactions sells you in her performance. And she's much better than Keira Knightley. I don't hate Keira Knightley as an actress. I have seen some movies where she is good, and she is going to be in the Nutcracker movie, but Mackenzie Foy is going to be the main standout in that film. I will say that the runtime is shorter. It feels like the first movie again. The action is nice. The music is cool. And Johnny Depp can hold a movie by himself very well. Even if it's a bad movie, he can be the best thing in it. And the special effects are great. This movie deserved to make its money. I thought this was a much better movie than At World's End. At World's End is my least favorite. If you've seen my ranking, you will know what I'm talking about. But if you are a fan of only the first three Pirates movies, you may not enjoy this one much. But if you're a fan of Pirates of the Caribbean, it can work at two different ways. You may like this movie or you may hate this movie. Me, I don't think the franchise is running out of steam. There's still a few stories left to tell. Blackbeard was really cool. Ian McShane was an awesome villain. Jeffrey Rush was great. There were some problems, but I did a review of this last summer of last year, and overall, this is a really good movie. I really enjoy Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, and I definitely will be getting this on Blu-ray. Coming in number 9 is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I haven't reviewed this yet, but I'm gonna save my thoughts for the movie when I review it. But I will say that Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is a classic Disney film. It doesn't need to be remade. I'm fine with if you're gonna remake The Little Mermaid, you might want to make sure you get someone who can actually sing. But Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is a great film. And number 8 is The Sorcerer's Apprentice. I don't see what's wrong with this movie. I love The Sorcerer's Apprentice. You got Nicolas Cage, Teresa Palmer, Jay Baruchel, gorgeous Monica Bellucci. Yes, she's still gorgeous, even with her age. And she's hot. The performances are great. The effects are really good. The direction is great. I think this is an underrated film. It definitely did not deserve the backlash it got. It's not a perfect film, but I don't think it deserved the bull crap it did. I don't think it's a terrible film. I've seen worse, but I do enjoy watching The Sorcerer's Apprentice. At number 7, National Treasure. Yes, I love the first one and the second one. I will be reviewing this too. It doesn't have to be extremely accurate to history, but it's kind of like a history lesson for the kids. It's for the kids, you know. I just really enjoy how it played out. Nicolas Cage, Harvey Keitel, John Voight, Sean Bean, Diane Kruger, Justin Bartha. The performances are great. I like the story. I like how this movie's shot. I like... Again, the film is a little slow at 2 hours and 11 minutes, but it got to the point very quickly. But everything else is great. Everything else is great. I think it's cool. I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome. And where is National Treasure 3? Where is it? And number 6 is we have the one, the only, the good one. Yeah, the good one. The classic from 1991. Which I reviewed last year. And in anticipation for The Lion King is my favorite Disney movie. Mr. Dark 582. It's one of my favorites. I just couldn't put it on the list. But anyways, this is the real Beauty and the Beast. I'm sorry to people who love the 2017 one. I like the movie, but I think Beauty and the Beast 2017 is just overrated. But anyways, the 1991 classic. This is the real Beauty and the Beast here. The animation is magnificent. I've pretty much praised this movie review. And yes, I do recommend National Treasure 2. The acting in Beauty and the Beast is great. The voice acting, the animation is great. The songs are amazing. The shot of Beauty and Belle and the Beast dancing in the yellow dress that she wears, that's an iconic scene. It's a really great film. I think this is an awesome, entertaining movie. I think it's a great film. I think it was magnificent. I thought this was just a very fun film. This is much better than the 2017 live action one. I'm sorry, but it's true. But I do like the Beauty and the Beast 2017 version. It's not horrible, but could have been better. And overall, just this film is really nice. It's very cool, and Disney's Beauty and the Beast is a really awesome film. Coming at number 5. Number 5 is, of course, Into the Woods, the Grandmother's House. This is basically for the family. I love Into the Woods. The film is well shot. I pretty much reviewed this movie when I first saw it. And just this film is just it's amazing. If you have not seen Into the Woods, I definitely recommend watching Into the Woods. Yeah, for a PG rated Disney movie, there are a lot of dark moments, but this is a It's a pretty entertaining film. It is 2 hours and 5 minutes. Definitely get the movie on DVD or Blu-ray. You have a stellar cast: Mel Streep, James Corden, Emily Blunt, Chris Pine, Leela Crawford as Red Riding Hood, Johnny Depp as the Wolf in his small part, and the lovely Anna Kendrick as Cinderella. The music and lyrics are great. The cinematography is great by Dion Beebe. The production designed by Dennis Gassner, who also helped with the production design of Blade Runner 2049. This movie is great. It is 2 hours and 5 minutes, and while the movie does have a lot of frightening moments for a PG-rated film, I will say that this is a really, really awesome movie. Definitely. I know this movie's not going to be for everyone because there are some people who hate it, but I think this is a good movie. Coming in number 4 is my favorite Pixar film, my favorite in this trilogy, Toy Story 3. Such a great end to the Toy Story franchise. We don't need a 4th one, Disney. And we really shouldn't be getting the 4th one next year because you don't have Slinky Dog or Mr. Potato Head. I think this movie just... There's a reason why this movie made $1 billion. There's a reason why this movie has a 99%. I heard some people say it's overrated. No, screw overrated. This movie is great. It is a masterpiece. I do agree with you, Ryan. We don't need Toy Story 4. We don't need a freaking love story, Pixar. Just like we did not need 3 Cars movies. Coco was a good movie. It should have just been Coco last year instead of Cars 3, because Cars 3 sucks. I love Toy Story 3. I love how this movie played out. I love how this movie takes you back to your childhood when you were growing up. Yeah, what are they going to do next? Tell the story. Now, telling the story with the girl Andy giving his toys to, I'm fine with that. That would be a better storyline than the love story. That would be a much better love story than much better storyline than the one we're gonna get. I would rather see a Toy Story 4 with the girl Andy giving his toys. But Toy Story 4 is unnecessary. Toy Story 3 is great. The only thing I don't like, it doesn't really hurt the movie. There are 2 things I don't like. They don't hurt the grade that I still gave it. The bear gets annoying very quickly. I know he's a villain, but Ned Beatty was doing his job too well. But I will say that he brought the house down as Lotso. But the scene, and then the other scene I don't like. They're in the garbage chute, and you have... I love Ned Beatty's performance as Lotso. I feel bad for him, but he really did make me hate him, and he is my least favorite villain in any animated movie. But Ned Beatty is great as Lotso, and he's well animated. But let me talk. The main thing I don't like is that the toys are in the garbage chute, right? Then Lotso's team comes, and then Lotso and Woody are talking about Daisy. Woody throws this pendant that he got from the girl's toy. And then Big Baby picks up the pendant. He screams at Lotso, like, don't be such a baby. And then right in front of him, right in front of him, breaks the pendants. He breaks the pendants and then hits the baby. He hits the baby with his cane. But the best thing in that scene is the Return of the Jedi reference. When Big Baby picks him up and throws him in the garbage can. But that is just a little nitpick. That's a little nitpick. So I can't hate the movie for that alone, because again, this was 11 years after Toy Story 2. And they wanted to go darker. They wanted to go more violence for a Pixar movie. And Lasso's backstory was really dark. And I thought the toys were gonna die when they're in the incinerator. I was like, please don't kill the toys off. This would be a horrible way to end the trip. But luckily, they get saved, and then they go to the little girl's house, and the ending is one of the best endings to a film trilogy ever. Toy Story 3 is magnificent. Coming in number 3 is the second in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest. This is my favorite of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. This is my favorite in the series, without a doubt. Now, I do like the first one, but the second one I like more. Because the second one, they anteed it up. And this movie made $1 billion in 2006. This is my favorite in the entire saga. This is the one I watched the most. It may not be better than The Curse of the Black Pearl, but I thought it was just as good as Curse of the Black Pearl. Not better than Black Pearl, just as good. And Davy Jones is my favorite villain of the saga, because Lord Beckett was unlikable. The cast is once again great. My favorite scene is when Jack Sparrow gets chased by the cannonball people. That was hilarious. The film does go on for a little too long, at 2 hours and 30 minutes, but I respect the ambition that both At World's End and Dead Man's Chest was trying to do. And the film is much more easier to follow if you pay attention. It's not a perfect movie, but it's more watchable over At World's End. I think this is underrated. I think this movie doesn't deserve the backlash it's been gotten. But At World's End is just the best Pirates of the Caribbean movie for me. I'm being honest. At number 2, by Duff. At number 2, we have High School Musical 3 Senior Year. This may be controversial because the High School Musical trilogy series is a controversial franchise. I think there's a lot of good things in this movie I enjoy. High School Musical 3 Senior Year is the best one in the franchise. It's fun, it's cool, it's entertaining, it's amazing. I just enjoy High School Musical 3 Senior Year. It's fun. You have great musical lyrics. The acting from everyone is great. And for a third High School Musical movie to focus on senior year, I thought it was great. I definitely recommend rewatching them. And Kenny Ortega directed the heck out of the High School Musical movies, and I like his directing style in the Descendants movies, which I do have a poster of. So I will talk more about this movie when I talk about my favorite and least favorite Disney Channel original movies in a live hangout format. But at the end of the day, Descendants 1 and 2 and High School Musical trilogy are cool. High School Musical 3 is the best one. I definitely recommend watching them, whether on DVD or on Blu-ray or on TV. These High School Musical movies are some of my guilty pleasures, and it's one of my favorite trilogies. I have a lot of fun, and the best song in this series is A Night to Remember, because that's when they are singing about their prom. Yes. Yes. At the end of the day, yeah, High School Musical 3, that's my favorite song in the entire High School Musical franchise. So yeah, this is a good movie. Now, my favorite. High School Musical 2 is my least favorite, but I still enjoy it. I reviewed all the High School Musical movies. They're on my channel and in the playlist. So, now before I get to my number one, I do have a couple of honorable mentions. Tron Legacy. The Little Mermaid. Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. Aladdin. And another honorable mention I do have is The Lion King is my last honorable mention. Those are my honorable mentions. They're all great Disney films. I just couldn't put them on the list. But my number one favorite, and I do mean my favorite Disney movie. Some people say this is overrated. Some people say this movie is annoying. Some people say this is Disney's worst film. I do not agree with that whatsoever. And you probably know what it is if you've seen it, but here we go. Frozen. Yes, I love Frozen. I love this movie. Frozen is an awesome movie. I avoided watching this movie at first because a lot of people were saying this movie's overrated. But I don't think it's overrated. This is a great film. It deserved the critical acclaim. It deserved the $1 billion. It deserved the Academy Award for Best Song. Let It Go. I love Anna and Elsa. I love Olaf. Olaf is very funny. Hans is just a villain you just love to hate. And I just really enjoy watching Frozen. It's a lot of great moments, great animation. The sequel, I am looking forward to. Yes, I agree it's a good movie, but my favorite movie would easily be The Lion King. I just think that Frozen is one of those movies that are underrated and at the same time overrated, because Frozen is great. I have no problems with this movie. I think this is an awesome movie. I think this is a very good movie. And I think this is a very fun, entertaining watch. So yeah. Basically overall, Frozen is just all kinds of awesome. Now, that's my list of my favorite and least favorite Disney films. Coming up next is my favorite and least favorite Disney Channel films. So I will see you guys in that one. Let me know what you guys think of this down below. Name your favorite and least favorite Disney films down below. I will see you guys in the next live stream, which I'm about to set up right now after I stop this one. My favorite and least favorite Disney Channel films. And if you like this, you can come here and we can have a good time.